This week on the Stogie Geeks Show, we've got Jack Torano from Duran Cigars in studio. We've got Brian and Robbie. Brian's in studio. Robbie will join us via Skype from PDR Cigars. We're going to do a Debonair Ideal segment and talk about our Stogies of the week, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Naya, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure the progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. If you created the Aging Room small batch cigar line, the highest rated boutique cigar brand of our times, what would you do next? Well, if you're Rafael Nodal from Boutique Blend Cigars, you would combine your 3 most important passions of your life, Cuba, music, and cigars, and create a new classic, La Boheme Cigars. La Boheme is Rafael's take on the golden age of Cuban cigars. La Boheme is a sophisticated blend of extra-aged and hard-to-find tobaccos from the Dominican Republic. A medium-bodied cigar, rich in flavors reminiscent of the island he left 35 years ago in a small boat with his family. Why wait for the embargo to be lifted? Smoke La Boheme today. Blending is in our DNA. Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This is episode 170 being broadcast live from G Unit Studios in Rhode Island. We've got a cast of characters both in here in the studio as well as on the lines via Skype. I mean, Will is a cast of characters in his own right.
How true is that?
Yeah, and he's coming in from North Carolina, Mr. Will Cooper. Welcome, Will.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Will?
Bad day.
Why is it a bad day? It's never a bad day in Coop's world.
Oh, jeez. We just, New York Giants are about to go into a 10-year tailspin of
Well, yeah, if you're a Giants fan, I guess it's a bad day.
This was not a good hire.
It's always a good day to be a Patriots fan. In the studio.
I thought it was because Duke lost.
And Jack is biting his tongue.
As well he should.
I was baiting him.
I know. He'll come back.
That's right. Mr. Stogie Santa.
Good evening.
Stogie Santa, you brought tequila.
Yes.
You're trying to take advantage of me. Oh, my God. This tequila is so awesome.
Yes.
It is so smooth and flavorful. I'm going to start slurring my words before we even get through the first segment. It's going to be ugly.
It's going to be interesting.
Mr. Jack Torano is here in studio for the first time. Jack, welcome back to the Stogie Geeks. Welcome to our studios.
This is a beautiful, beautiful studio. You got a large studio audience. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Now, there's a large studio audience of 1 here. On the other side, there's 2 more people. That, if my math is correct, makes 3.
You count employees as studio audience.
Yeah.
Plus, we got tons of people outside looking in the window. We had to close the curtains.
Yeah, everyone that walks by to go to the cigar lounge looks in. I mean, do they count?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All I know is we have 3, and there's not a lot of podcasts. That may be 3 more than a lot of podcasts.
This is true. This is true.
And they're great guys. By the way, Cigar Corner, man, these guys are the best.
Yeah. Big Pete and Jim, they show up for almost every show. So.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Brian from PDR Cigars is here. Brian, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yes. And your cohort, Robbie, will be joining us in a little while.
Robito Strites.
Yes. He won't be here in studio. He'll be on the lines via Skype. But,
I got a bunch of questions for him.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
He didn't hire me.
Oh.
Jack, do you have any questions for me? Because I've interviewed you a lot, like at least 2, maybe 3 times.
I think I'm going to end the segment with the 5 rapid fire questions for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we got the new ones for Jack.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, you
we've got
some
new
ones.
questions for you because you answered the original 5. We actually have a follow-on 5
yeah.
questions.
I want to know why you want to play Ask Grabby Grabby with me, though.
Yeah.
Because I heard that.
We
Do you
gotta-
really have to ask that, Jack? Really?
It's
Have you looked in the
Wait,
mirror?
wait.
lately? Come on now.
Someone that's wearing Ugg boots, you want to know why he's
Guys
playing
wanna
Ask Grabby Grabby?
Ask Grabby Grabby with me. So,
I was at a
size
meeting for work.
15.
One
I
of
know
my
you
co-
guys scared the hell out of Gabriel Alvarez with that question. So.
we scare a lot of people with that question.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So
I play Ask Grabby Grabby with Gabriel all the time.
that's way too much information.
Yeah.
What you guys do in your own free time doesn't need to be broadcast live on the air. That's all I'm saying.
It'd be a good segment.
So, Will, I don't have anything planned for this segment. So I'm drawing on my experience in 10 years of podcasting to basically make shit up as I go along.
Well, Jack's like the Don Strock here because he's pinch hitting again. We did have another guest who I'm not sure what happened, but so Jack's been like Don Strock for us, you know.
He went
I
missing.
like the reference.
He's in the
I
river.
like the reference.
Yeah.
But I'll actually kick it off, Jack, because last week you guys launched a really interesting ad campaign, and we happened to get the ad too. That's on our website. And I loved it. Why don't you talk a little about that?
When we decided, coming out of the trade show, we decided that we were going to go all in for 2016, which meant Cigar Aficionado. We may add some other publications, but for right now, it's Cigar Aficionado. We instead of creating that same ad where it's Charlie
It's
Torano,
you in a bathtub holding
Charlie
a cigar.
lighting a cigar, or one of the manufacturers riding a horse through a tobacco field.
Yeah.
We
The
decided
horse is pretty popular in those ads.
The
Yeah, I
horse is
agree, yeah.
popular. The horse is. I hear it's the same horse in every ad, though. He's
He's pretty tired.
he works for scale. So we decided to bring on an ad agency, and I have some good friends in Chicago that have a boutique agency. They both of the guys that run that agency come from Leo Burnett, so they got a rich history in advertising, and we brought them. They're called the Distillery Project, and we brought them on board, and Roberto and I flew to Chicago for like just a meeting of the minds and to see where we were going with the ad, and they were all very serious ads we were working on, and at the end of the little meeting, I kind of threw out there, why don't we look at some humor? And Roberto was dead against the humor. He was like, I don't want to hear no humor.
Was this like a Mad Men ad agency meeting, cigars, scotch,
humor,
the whole thing?
no
Yeah.
humor. And I said, well, let them try it. Let them try something. And a couple weeks later, they sent the serious ads along with the humorous ads, the cigars that are smuggled into Cuba. And Roberto took one look at that and said, "This is it. This is the ad." And it's 3 different ads. This one featured the Duran signature line.
Mm-hmm.
The second one will feature Nea F8, and the third one will feature a Zan. And the tagline, and each one will have a different tagline. And the tagline for the Azan is going to be it's going to be very funny. So
nice.
Hopefully people are enjoying it. And I know I got some flack from these 3 Canadian Cuban cigar fanboys that took it literally.
Right.
Instead of, how it is.
I often find it's interesting, though. A lot of, I've been involved in a lot of, like, advertising campaigns, and you'll have someone that is adamant when they meet with the ad agency or marketing team, and they're like, I don't want this. And you're like, oh, but that could really work. Like, what if we do try that? And, like, 9 times out of 10, that's the campaign that they'll go with, is the one they adamantly said, I don't want this in the beginning. So,
I mean, the moment they sent it to us and we opened up that attachment in the email, everybody in the office just started laughing. And we thought it was so great, so clever, and couldn't believe nobody had thought of turning it around and looking at it the other way, the cigars that are smuggled into Cuba.
Yeah.
And it's been
put the
very well
twist on
received.
things.
It's been really well received. So we're really happy with it.
nice. So there's been a couple of topics that we've been talking about here on the Stogie Geeks. I want to get everyone's opinion on some of these topics. The first of which is, when it comes to this time of year, everyone has released their top 10, their top 20, their top 25 cigars out there. And, what was your impressions or opinions on some of those lists? that were put out there.
I think there were so many different cigars. I mean, if you look at my father's cigar, definitely ruled the planet with Snob and Aficionado. But it's funny that the number one cigar in Snob was not even on the top 25 in Aficionado, and vice versa. And my thoughts are that there's just so many, from PDR to Duran to, there's so many people putting out great cigars. As an aficionado, do yourself a favor, try all these cigars, and those lists kind of showed that. You know, there's great cigars out there. Try them all. Don't nail yourself into one brand or one.
I had the same advice for our listeners.
I just look at it
too.
as a retailer, and you look at it. I think the more that you see, the better off that you are. You know, so this way here, it brings attention. You know, some people. Different. Oh, I can't believe that's 1 or 2. I don't care what's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. It doesn't really mean much to me. Basically, if someone's coming and asking for that cigar, it's the most important thing. That's what I look at.
The funny thing is, well, my stepson works at a cigar shop in Miami, probably the best cigar shop in Miami, Neptune, and he says it's unbelievable the amount of people that come in with a photocopy or the page actually ripped out of a aficionado. Here. Give me as many of the top 25 as you got.
Absolutely. I used to be a former retailer, so I got the same thing. You know, that list would come out, and hey, which ones of these do you have? You know,
As long as they don't come in and ask me, do you got Cubans?
Well, that's the second question he gets
second
all the time.
Yeah,
and I actually did an event at Neptune, and I was standing there, and this group of Asians came in, and they thought I worked there, and they brought me the cell phone with a picture of a Cuban Cohiba, and they said, "Where's this?"
Yep.
I said, "In Cuba," and they didn't understand. I said, "There's an embargo. We don't have those here."
Of those people you think that go into the shops, how many try those cigars and come back to buy those same cigars, do you think?
Hopefully quite a bit of them. You know.
That's a great question. It's still, what I find though is that still at mainstream that they look at the top, let's say Cigar Aficionado. It's just unfortunate that some they gravitate to the ones that I'm not really fond of, but it is what it is, and it's a long. I like seeing like Cigar Snob. I give them a lot of credit. I don't see any Cubans on there. I just don't think that's a fair assessment of putting that in the top 25 or top 15 or whatever. It doesn't do us any good on the retail end.
You and I were talking
Yeah,
about
right,
that earlier.
exactly. And
Well,
I'm not
because it's
knocking.
primarily a U.S. These are U.S. publications.
Right,
They're
and
geared
I'm
towards the
not
US.
knocking.
Aficionado is worldwide, though.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
so
true.
Aficionado is more of a
It's
global
a
Snob
good
is
point.
a U.S. publication.
Right, exactly.
I
Great
think
point.
They're in
Great
Latin
point.
America and things
But
where
still, I
Cubans may
just-
be available. But I agree
Right.
with you. And
You know-
I personally would like to see the list consist of cigars that were released in 2015.
But in Cigar
So-
Aficionado, do you see
a good
any
point.
Cuban cigars that are paying sponsorships?
With ad dollars?
Well, that's true. Good point. All right, keep my mouth shut, but it is what it is.
I don't, and I don't. That's just a smart ass report.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
I
don't
know what you mean.
I
I
don't
just-
know. No, they're not. But you know, they do have the forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that like them. Cigar Aficionado is very prominent in Canada, where you can get them.
Yep.
And absolutely, you know, it is what it is.
I want to come back to a point, though. You said, I think it was Jack, you said, I wish that the lists would be cigars that came out in 2015. And certainly, Will and I noticed
agree.
a lot of differences between the lists that came out. Some were cigars that weren't released. Also, I think there's a component of maybe, and this is the slippery slope, the cigar of this manufacturer that of this year was better. And I've seen where different vintages, right, like the 2015 XYZ manufacturer cigar, like that really stood out this year. When I was smoking it from boxes this year, it really stood out more so than other years. And I know every manufacturer tries to blend for consistency, but I don't know. I think there's differences.
Crops are different.
Crops are different, right?
Right.
It's
I mean, you
similar
got
to wine.
a nice dry weather.
I would still like to see. There were so many great cigars
Slimline
released this year, and you know, you had Nick on here. I just smoked away Wednesday.
Great cigar.
Next door, fantastic cigar. Steve Saka cigar. I
But
got
what
to
about
smoke
this?
one really
What
good.
about cigars that come out in late 2015, and you smoke them and like, oh, they're good, and then 4 or 5 months later you smoke them again in 2016, and you're like, wow, they're so much better now.
Yep.
Yes.
Like now, how does that
Yes.
rank on my 2015 list? And it doesn't rank for 2016 because I only am reviewing cigars that were released in 2016 this year.
And a lot of it is regional too. Someone on the West Coast is not available to get what's on the East Coast.
may not
East
get
and-
it for-
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a perception that really can hurt a particular cigar. And so if you
Or
don't have a
help- or
strong
help.
Oh, help. Yeah.
or help
yeah.
actually, because a cigar makes a top 5 that's not available on the West Coast.
Right.
Those retailers are going to be clamoring for it, so it helps us.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, Duran's Signature is the one that, there's a few of them. Duran's Signature is the one that comes to mind. That cigar in 12 months. It was very, very good when it came out, but it was incredible when it came out, a year later with some age in the humidor. Azan's another one. They're great cigars. And this was the first year I started doubting if it should be the 2015 or not, because there were a lot of cigars. And then Sobra Mesa, I just felt came out so late in the year. That I just think it was too soon to kind of anoint it where it was, because we just don't know where that cigar is heading yet.
It was almost like those movies that are released at the last minute to make it to the Oscars.
Yeah.
Right.
Although-
Nobody's had a chance to see them.
Yeah.
Well, except for Creed. Creed was valid.
So who's more important to you, Coughlin or Sylvester Stallone?
Wow.
That's
boy.
a tough.
Well, here we
That
go,
may be
Jack.
the toughest question ever asked of William Cooper on the show, Jack.
Oh man,
And
I go back
Will's like
40
falling
years.
into
I
the
go,
Matrix,
I go,
dude.
Yeah, I
I
know.
go
See
back,
that? Oh, there he is. Okay.
I go back 40 years with Stallone. I go back 40.
Yeah, but
I
Stallone
remember-
is like, you've seen him once, that's enough.
I mean, I cried 40 years ago when at the end of the first Rocky movie, and I still cry at the end of that movie. I can watch that scene over and over again when he loses a
It's
split
too much.
decision.
It's too much, Will. We know you have a poster of Stallone
I
in
That's the
do. I
main
can show you.
genre
I
out of
can
you.
show
on
you.
the
I'll-
ceiling of your bedroom.
I
you
have
know.
one. I'm looking right across from me, actually.
Oh,
I
God.
did
It's that inspirational speech that he gave
That's
his son.
grabby,
in Rocky,
grabby.
Coop can't be
in
serving up
Balboa.
softballs like that and expect
I
us
have,
to
I
stay
have, I
quiet.
have, my, I have my Stallone aficionado cover right on the other side.
Good for you. Next.
Judge Dredd's still my favorite
Yeah.
Stallone movie.
Kind of like Ryan. I kind of like.
Paradise Alley.
Paradise
Oh,
Alley.
Armand. Oh my goodness, Armand Desante.
Yeah, Paradise Alley was. I think I watched that movie like 40 times.
Oh, and Stallone. Stallone sings the closing song,
Oh,
that movie.
Jesus Christ.
and it's beautiful. Stogie Santa, it's
We got to
beautiful.
bring out some Rocky
I'm
trivia.
not
See
gonna-
if this guy we can
Yeah.
stump Coop.
You can't stop me with Rocky.
Yeah.
Can't.
Hey, Adrian.
Anyway,
Yo, Adrian.
moving along. There was another topic that we were talking on the show that I wanted to ask everyone about, and now I don't remember what it is.
I
we'll-
got that excuse, not you.
In lieu of that, we'll talk about humidification. Mm-hmm. How's that? Since,
Sure.
I've been toying with these like Bovita style humidors that I've been building, and Will and I were talking. We're gonna do a giveaway on the show because I've got some Spanish cedar planks, and I want to throw a couple of those in a cooler. I want to put some Bovita packs both in the cooler and then in Ziploc bags, and I think it's a really economical way to build a humidor that can hold a lot of cigars. And I think after Christmas time and everything, people are like, well, what do I do? I've got all these cigars now, and I don't have a place to store them. So, what's your guys' advice on people who have a surplus now and want to store these extra cigars?
Smoke them while you got them.
You smoke them, right? I like that.
Tupperware, yeah.
Tupperware.
Yeah.
Tupperware
and
and-
Bovita.
Yeah,
And
Bovita, yeah.
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 That's what a lot of people come in that
The
don't have it.
Zycar beads are really good.
Right. Zycar beads. But when people come in, Jack made a good point. If they're storing 20, 25 to 50 cigars, don't even bother with a humidor. Just get the
Ziploc-
Tupperware,
a
put a
couple of
Bovita
Tupperware.
in there, bang, done.
Now, you put them right in the Tupperware, or do you put them in a Ziploc bag in the Tupperware?
No, right now,
Right in the
put it right in the
Tupperware.
Tupperware.
Nice.
That's all. Bovita, you use it for seasoning, your humidor, or whatever you want to do. They have,
Yeah, they have all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
But so right in the Tupperware. That's good.
You know, one of the things we touched on the aging part of cigars. It's been a big topic on all the social media sites. How long should I age this cigar? And I always thought it was kind of silly. Just smoke the damn cigar. I got our master roller at Torano, Felipe Sosa. I went to an event last Saturday, and he rolled from scratch a cigar that I smoked, and I documented it. One of the best cigars I've ever had, right off the table. But
Yeah.
but again, now there are cigars that need aging. As manufacturers, the market's been hot, and we're rushing cigars out there. So I have had some blends that with a couple of months in my humidor have been spectacular. Where at first they were a little green. So
We've been seeing
They're going
that.
a little
yeah.
funky
I'm back on the
stage.
aging
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
where
yeah.
you should let them rest a little bit.
Yep.
One of the topics that I was listening to lately was about the Cigar Publications magazines. and how that compares to, not necessarily how it compares, but you have magazines which have their strengths, and you have online media. From a retail perspective and both from a manufacturer perspective, like how do you view online media versus print? Not versus print, but how do you kind of work in online media and print, both into how you may advertise or how you may consume information in the industry?
This for me?
Whoever. Sure, you. Go, Jack.
Okay. I feel like I'm hogging up.
No, go ahead. No, it's,
when we have our national sales meeting next week in Nicaragua, we'll address this as well. We've been advertisers on your show as well as a couple of others, and we really we stayed away from print advertising. Azan did some print advertising in the beginning, but last year we didn't do much of it. I think it's a full circle. I mean, you really have to you have to hit every aspect to get the word out there. I mean, more and more, I think the people that read Snob and Aficionado are more and more us, the manufacturers, or you guys.
People in the industry in some way, shape, or fashion.
In the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Aficionado and Snob and these magazines cover to cover. But I go into a cigar shop and I see people on their phones.
Yeah,
I don't see people.
So you think it's interesting. So you think consumer are more driven by online media?
Oh,
as opposed to
absolutely.
print?
Absolutely.
Really? I say more so.
It's trended toward that. Absolutely.
And what happens, it's more readily available. They got it right there. It's something, okay, if I put the magazine, I'm not going to take it with me unless I'm at home. So if I'm at the shop, it's a little bit more
It's convenience,
convenience.
but also online media is very timely. Will's had a daily blog forever now, right? But when you read an article in a Cigar Aficionado or a Cigar Snob, like they may have traveled somewhere and spent months of research into just that one article, right? So I appreciate the depth in the print magazines, but also I appreciate the timeliness of the online media.
Yeah, the articles are spectacular, but I'm not knocking these magazines, and I think they've done a good job of Aficionado's website, Snob's website, of hitting that digital world, and because a lot of stories are hot today, and 2 months from now or
Gone
4 months from now,
right.
nobody cares about it. They've already heard.
No.
They already know what the article's going to have in it.
But
Snob and Aficionado in these magazines, and you guys, it's to the day. It's news that day.
It's news in a general sense, and sometimes what consumers like to do, even though it's a convenience to be on your personal device, whatever it may be, they still like to read Snob or Cigar Aficionado or whoever, and they sometimes they compare notes to it to see what the differences are, any common ground.
Right. No,
So
I personally do the same thing.
Me too.
Right?
That's what I do.
What do they think on this website versus what does the magazine think?
Right.
Versus,
where are there some common grounds, or sometimes the uncommon
right.
ground.
Right.
And you also have the differential in age group as well. Your guys who have been smoking cigars for a while, who aren't tech savvy, will go more towards the magazines, where the younger crowd, will do more of the online stuff, and
Right.
research that.
Me, I do both.
You do
Right.
both.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
But you also listen to
I'm
what
with you.
Who you calling old, man?
Hey, we're in
I'm
same
the
age
old
group.
man here.
Well, what you listen to is also your retailer as well, right? So your retailer is recommending something, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I read an article, a review online, and I saw, something about that in Cigar Snob. So, like all those things combined, like you were saying, you got to hit all mediums. So
gotta hit
those
everything.
three things combined, you know what? I'm going to try that cigar.
And the whole thing is, I think even if it's online or if it's in print, they have this one particular Vitola in this, say, in Jack's size. That's where I think a retailer comes in. I always what I try to push is do the whole line sample, because you may not like the Robusto, but you may like the Toro better.
That's where I was going. That's
I
exactly
think
where
it's
I was going next,
really,
Stogie
really
Santa.
important.
Yeah.
It's not a selling tool. I always tell people that is if you don't have if you're not going to do it now, but please try that whole line of the cigars, because you may pick out the one that you like the most, because we're going to differ in Vitola sizes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's a trend that I saw in 2015, and I think it was because of all of the new cigars coming to market, that a lot of consumers were very dismissive of a particular brand because they tried one size once and they didn't like it. And there's a couple things wrong with that. One, you may like a different size. Two, try and smoke the cigar again. Give it some rest.
right.
Maybe you smoked it off the truck.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. Maybe
Get the trial of 3.
yeah, you got.
absolutely.
You got to give it a fair chance, and I find a lot of people today who review cigars, who are consumers, who are like the strong consumers who have influence with the retailer or the manufacturer, right? They're the people that they draw on for opinions are like, well, I tried that once and I didn't like it. And we try not to do that here on the show, right? And we try and say that, hey, I only smoked one of these and here's what I thought of it. But, I want to try it again kind of thing. And
I think that's so
goes
important.
into that, though, like what you ate, what you drank,
Absolutely.
where's
Or
your
how many
at,
you smoked.
you know
You know
what
what I
many
mean?
you smoked, exactly.
Yeah. Some cigars I won't, like I'll smoke them to review, and after I smoke it, I'll just I just felt like something was off. Like my palate was off, and there's probably 5 to 10% of the cigars I smoke for review, they never make it here on the show the first time I smoke them because I'm like, something was off. My palate was off. My palate was dry that day or whatever the case. So I want to come back and smoke that again.
And that's why having a panel, having 2 or 3 people, excuse me, Coop, I didn't mean to cut you off like that, but having 2 or 3 different people sharing that opinion, because usually me and Coop are probably more online than probably when you and Mark
you
together.
guys are more in line with your palates.
Well,
than
right, and not that it's right or wrong.
No,
and I think that's what's so important. It truly is. Find out where that sweet spot is for that person. It's really, really important.
But
it really
it's interesting.
is.
There are percentages of cigars that, if 3 or 4 of us rate it,
Right,
that
the
Chuck
same
Norris
thing.
or Oasis,
Exactly.
That's a winner.
That's it.
Out of the gate, that's a winner. So
Yeah.
And I've had cigars that we go ahead, Coop.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
No, I was just going to add, one thing that I've done on Coop, more so than Stogie Geeks, but to some extent Stogie Geeks, is this idea of kind of getting the cigar and rushing the review out. It's not a service. It's not a good service. And I'd rather most of the reviews now on Coop are not first. And I'm fine with that. There are guys who they'll smoke something right off the truck and they'll have a review out that afternoon. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I think certainly once it hits the store, it's fair game, but it's really not because by the time someone picks that up in the humidor, it could be ready. It could be very different.
Right. Very true.
Especially at this time of the year too. With the cold weather.
Yeah.
Something's getting shipped in from Miami. It's in the UPS terminal over the weekend. You
Right.
got to let that sit in your humidor. And
In
I
the
tell
trunk
my
of my
retailers.
car.
Yeah, I mean, and Brian, actually, in a point right now is I've kind of with a lot of reps who give me cigars to review. I'm very careful on that, and I tell them that I kind of want to have those as optimum condition as possible.
Absolutely.
So usually I'll let them rest. In fact, we just had a sponsor send us a cigar for a review. He asked me about it, and I said, "Hey, and it was 20 degrees, and it was very dry here. There was no way I was lighting that cigar up until it had some time."
Absolutely.
I got a question for Jack where with the manufacturing end and you have the consumer end, it's a difficult thing. Everyone wants something new, and yet I find that is that difficult? Do you have a particular number or a set number of Vitolas or a line that you want to bring up per year? Because the consumer's always saying they'll pick up what's new, and then the first thing they get done with smoking with a cigar, what's new? Is there a certain number of Vitolas or brand or something that you want to do, or you have a vision for that year that you want to put out in that particular?
To me, no more than 2 for the show. Maybe if you have a limited release in there, but I know some manufacturers are bringing out 6 to 8 new blends every year, and I think it not only hurts consumers to get attached to your brand, it hurts your portfolio because you're not eliminating anything. All you're doing is replacing them. You're moving them from somebody that loved Brand A here. Now I like this one. Well, they're not going to buy Brand A anymore.
Right.
So,
And what's funny is we'll go back and we'll review some of those other brands that, were hot, and then there's been 6 or 7 releases after that from the same manufacturer. But, well, hey, I want to go back and I smoked that one. It's still really good. You should give that a fair shake. And it gets lost in not just because that manufacturer released 7 new brands, but, there are 12 other manufacturers that had 3 or 4 new releases that you're trying to smoke, and you, never get a chance to circle back. So I try and force Will and I and Stogie Santa to go back and smoke some of those things that other people may not have because they're so caught up in what's new.
And that's something that we did this year. We released a line, a sister brand, extension with the Grand Reserve. We did the Sun Grown. Other than that, we had our Connecticut Valley Reserve, which was a limited edition. So on top of that, we added a couple sizes to some blends, but nothing that would overpopulate or diminish from what our portfolio, like Jack was saying.
Sizes to me seem to be very
There's only
geographic.
so much shelf space.
Yeah. But
you know
sizes
that.
are very geographic and even
Absolutely.
stored specific, right? One
Yes.
size will sell great at your store. Another store in Rhode Island,
yeah.
they're selling different sizes,
Right.
or not selling that brand at all because it doesn't sell in their shop. But so
But
I've heard that
that's
from
that's
everyone.
where we come in. What I really like to try to do, people, is switch it up.
Yeah.
You know, and don't stay in that same Vitola. I'm not knocking a 660 because as long as you're smoking a cigar, that's most important. But just try something different. Just see what that cigar may prove something in a Robusto size that you may even find more flavorful than what you're smoking. So that's where retailers got to help out the manufacturer in that sense too, to get them trying all different Vitolas, not just sticking with that one size. I mean, unless that person is just, I'm a 660 and that's who I am and that's all I'm going to do.
Right.
And
Right.
So
It goes with the partnership.
yeah, it's a, they have a limited brain, so be it. Nothing I can do with that.
Which cigars are, other than the brands that you have associations with, which cigars are you really excited to smoke in 2016?
In 2016?
Yeah. Like
Has
that are
anything
coming
been
out.
released
See,
in 2016?
been
see,
released
something.
yet?
See, I don't know.
Well, maybe that came out recently that you haven't smoked yet.
Well, listen. It was no secret because I'm on social media a lot. I'm on Facebook a lot. Eric Espinosa's Laranja was my favorite cigar. Came
Very
out
good
late
cigar.
2014. I think it came out for the show in 2014 maybe, but it really got its legs in 2015. That cigar was just still to this day it's spectacular. I was with Hector, who's with our master blender, on Tuesday, and he gave me one, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Las Calaveras of 2014, fantastic brand. I really love that cigar, and it's no longer available. And La Imperiosa is, it's got a little differences to it, but it's
different sizes.
different
Yep.
sizes as well, and it's a great cigar. Crown Heads is doing some really good cigars. Like when I go to the trade show, I'm almost like you guys. I'll take an afternoon, usually that last afternoon, walk around and collect cigars from everybody, take them home, and I spend the next 2 months smoking them. I want to see what other manufacturers are putting out.
Absolutely.
See, that's an interesting point that Jack brings up, because there are, without getting into names, there's some people that all they'll do is just smoke their cigar and not see
Branch
what's
out.
out there and branch
Right.
out and, see what's on the market. You gotta see what's there. Not to compare, but just to see what's
To rip off.
That's it. Whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do, you got to do.
Yeah. Like whenever I'm with Mark or Paul, it's I ask them, hey, what should I try? What's new and exciting? Because like Jack and I, we smoke a lot of our own stuff for the most part. So unless something's gifted to us or whatever, we rely on the retailer, to see what's out there. Obviously social media keeps us in loop with everything, and we keep our ear to the ground. But we don't always get the opportunity to smoke everything that's out there. So, when you build that partnership with your clientele, you can ask them, and like Mark, he hooked me up with a cigar today that I haven't smoked, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
From your perspectives, what's the pluses and minuses to online versus brick and mortar?
I think online it's probably for speaking on retail end, you have more availability of what you want to smoke as a retailer on our end. We
You
try
only have so much shelf space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to get to. You got shelf space. You only can do so much. I think what the most important thing online is probably the variations of what you can do. So if you want A, B, C, you'll have the whole gambit. So
Right,
if you want, if I don't have Jack cigar or PDR, whoever cigar I don't have, they can find that online.
Right.
So
And
it's
you don't have Jack cigar.
and that's something. That's not my. Well, that's well.
Hey, I didn't bring that up.
No. That's not my doing.
Neutral
Well,
party.
that's another story for another time. But
Well,
that's what I'm
Stogie
saying.
Santa is saying,
That's
right?
a good point.
Yeah.
To bring it up now. Someone goes to Rand Cigar. They're looking for a retailer, right? They're not going to go drive around every shop. They're going
Right.
to click onto Jack's website and
Look to see
Rhode
who has
Island,
it.
who's got it? Bing. So
Yeah.
I think online, like brick and mortar, some people get really uptight with it. I gotta you gotta embrace it. You know what I mean? It
You
is
gotta
what
look
it
at it
is.
from the consumer's perspective, which there's a
Exactly.
positive,
It's a
right?
catch-22 in a
Listen,
sense.
It's a
You know,
50-50 thing.
If
and
I
it is-
stop by my local tobacconist and they don't have XYZ cigar, and they may not be bringing it in, it's not on their radar, I can go online and even if I go to the first 3 sites and I don't find it, the 4th site that I find, I'm probably going to find that cigar. So I have a much greater variety.
Right.
Now, the downside to that is I may have to buy a 5-pack or a box, and if I buy a single, I got to pay shipping on that single. So being able to try cigars online is a little tougher than I know I can go into the local brick and mortar and I can say, I've heard about that. I want to try just one. And I can buy it, and I don't have to pay
you
shipping.
can't just buy
right?
one though. That's bullshit.
To me, the
Yeah, no, you know
I'm
what
just
I'm saying.
busting
You
it.
know
Yeah,
what I'm
to
saying.
me, the heart and soul of this industry is a brick and mortar.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
It's the brick and mortar, and if that were to ever die out, we're all in trouble.
Well,
Because the thing that you miss
it
by
is an experience. It is
yes, you miss the experience.
it's a
That's a
camaraderie.
great- yep.
The people you meet there.
Absolutely.
It's a great experience that you don't get online. You
No,
may get,
I mean,
you may
look
get
at
a
that.
little better deal online.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that if you're a guy that likes to attend events and at the brick and mortar, you're going to get a better deal there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
I
Rober.
agree.
Rober likes to attend events, and he wins a lot of shit at I've never seen anything like this guy. He's
Well, there's not just events, but shops will have sales, right?
Yeah,
Because as we said, not
absolutely.
every cigar does well at every retail shop. So I've done really well at sales, where they're like, this isn't a bad cigar. It just hasn't sold well for us here. Maybe there's another cigar from that same manufacturer, like, that's selling really well. We're going to keep that one. I've done really well at sales and at events, like you say, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's the cool thing about this industry. You walk into a cigar shop, and it doesn't matter who's sitting there. Everybody gets up and says hi to you, shakes
Yeah.
your hand. It's a really cool camaraderie. You don't get that with the online experience.
Right.
You may get other things out of the online experience. And certainly, there's a lot of people in parts of this country that are nowhere near a brick and
shop,
mortar.
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
So
unfortunate.
they have to deal with with the
And
online.
to those people, and everyone really, like when you travel, like you were saying, you can walk into any cigar shop. I've traveled a fair amount. When I go into other cigar shops, it's the exact experience that you say. And every single one, it's
Yeah.
just an awesome experience to sit down and have a cigar with people you've never met before in your whole life. And you just sit down and talk and have a cigar. And you have a positive experience like in every cigar
Because
shop.
everybody's an equal. They're all cigar smoke. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have that one common thing. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, you scrub toilets, whatever. You're all there for the same enjoyment of this beautiful thing that we.
If I would have won the Powerball last night, I would have treated everybody the same. I would have been a good guy.
So more and more, I love hanging with this guy. I tell you.
I would have dropped the cigar.
That's it.
No, it's really.
For my
They
homies.
got to meet Silver Lake Al.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he awake?
Yeah, well, half the time.
Oh yeah. I went into his
Oh,
shop today and I
God.
had one guy snoring.
He
and I had
snored,
another
yeah.
couple guys talking about Trump. It was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It was
it's-
great banter. The
Oh,
thing
that's
that
what I'm
I
saying.
don't
You can't make this shit up.
No,
you
you
just
can't,
can't.
and what I don't have in Miami right now are the campaign ads, the political campaign ads that are swamping this area.
Yeah.
So I got to take all that in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate them, but
It's
I haven't
very
gotten to see
interesting.
them yet. So every time a commercial break came on and the ads came on, you had comments from everybody. It was funny to hear it all. I
It's-
try to stay out of it.
It's like a comedy TV show.
Oh, it really is. It's like Steinfeld.
It
It's a
is.
little
It's
like
somebody needs to do a reality show.
Oh,
and
it
a
really
cigar
is.
shop. They got to pick the right cigar shop and do a reality
and
show.
it's amazing. Every once in a while, you got to say we're also located inside a liquor store, so we've got the smoking room in the back. And we try to keep out the riffraff, and sometimes there's New England
There's
is a fellowship of the miserable at times, and we sit in the back, and all of a sudden, like Jack was saying, it's like, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. As Coop would know, we sit in the back. We have one of our own is very staunch Republican, and next thing you know, it's a heated debate, and you got this guy who was completely shit-faced and trying to find the bathroom. He's walking through the thing, and next thing you know, we're laughing. I mean, like you're saying, you can't get that
You
online.
just described it exactly.
Exactly.
That's exactly the
It's
experience.
so funny. It truly is. You can't make it up. You just truly can't. And like Jack says, maybe good or bad, you just don't experience that online.
Yeah, no, it's very true. All right, well, with that, we're going to take a short break. We're going to get Robbie on the line, and we're going to talk to Robbie and see what's up at PDR Cigars. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.